All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Second. All in favor? If you would, please rise and join us for the invocation.
Lord, we thank you for this time we have together as we look over the business affairs and well-being of all people in all things services and those of our students at the Pray that you give us wisdom and all that we decide. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now, as the East Hall IROTC presents the colors, when we're ready, we ask you to join us in recitation in the honor of pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Recognitions of guests. I think we have one, a very special one today.
Rhonda, I think we have an incredibly special guest.
We do. We have a very special guest tonight, and I'll call on Stan Lewis, Director of Athletics and Public Relations.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. Board members, I know I don't need to remind you what a special relationship we have with Atlanta Rehab. They have been providing athletic training services to our student athletes for as long as I can remember, and I've been in this district for a very long time. Not only do they take care of our athletes, but they're part of our family, and we have one here tonight that went above and beyond several weeks ago at a high school football game at Cherokee Bluff High School, and at this time I'd like to invite Principal Denise Ramsey, Athletic Director Ralph Neely, to come up and talk a little bit about what transpired.
So in late August, A.J. Freeman, who is our wonderful athletic director, he does his job excellently, but he went above and
Denise, I
beyond.
know better than to interrupt you, but would you speak to the microphone so
Sure.
the folks watching online can hear this incredible story? Thank
Sure.
you.
So in late August, it was the beginning, it was pregame, and so we had parents and grandparents and students were coming in and out of the, or coming into the stadium, and on the kind of far side of the stadium, there was a grandfather that came in. He happens to be the grandfather of one of our coaches. He came in and he started heating up, and he lost all consciousness, and for all intents and purposes, he was gone. And AJ delivered CPR, and he saved his life on that day. And so it was amazing. He did, and then about a week later, 2 weeks, the middle school had a game at our facility, and there was another grandfather that came in who actually had a stroke, and AJ happened to be so he may not, I keep saying, keep coming back, please, we need you, but he helped that grandfather as well get to the hospital, and he took care of him as well. So he is definitely our hero. Our kids know that, our parents know that, and so we're very proud of him.
We're going to have Board Member Bill Thompson present the certificate to AJ. And board members, let me remind you also, this is exactly why you have approved for our students all, as many as possible, to learn CPR, because we know that it saves lives. So it's a very important skill to learn.
On a personal note, this young man has taken care of my grandchildren for several years now, and I appreciate it very much.
Like you love it.
And I'd also add that AJ is not only a hero, but he's a very reluctant hero. He did not want to come. He did not want us to make a big deal out of this, and we had to remind him that this is the reason we teach younger people the better way, CPR, the service of others, and you represent that so well. We're blessed to have you as part of our team, so thank you for what you've done. And once again, a round of applause for AJ. And thank you, Atlanta Rehab, for our partnership. It's wonderful.
And now we have the consent agenda. Motion to adopt the consent agenda. Got a motion, second. All in favor? And for our next under board operations, for our next board meeting, we have the opportunity to move it to Academies of Discovery, Learning Commons. Da Vinci Academy is having their museum experience.
That's correct. The museum experience is from 4 till 6, and I've talked to Principal House, and she would love to host you guys at 4:15 when you can arrive for a tour of the museum, and she promised to get you guys back to the Learning Commons by 5 o'clock for your regular meeting.
Keep in mind, this is now going on, I believe, 17 years, one of the most innovative learning programs in the country. It is the museum theme, where the students actually have put together the museum space. They will act as docents, and it always is just unbelievable that middle school students are grasping the content the way that they are and sharing it with others. It's gotten to be an incredibly popular elementary school field trip. So what an opportunity to be there, and we invite all. And once again, former North Hall drama teacher Jan Ewing is now heading up the Da Vinci program. And I think in her first month at South Hall, she was named Teacher of the Month. So she's really enjoying what they're doing with those students. So Aaron, thank you for making that happen.
Is everyone all right when we're moving that? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Marcelo will get this advertised in the Times. It won't be advertised one time next Wednesday due to the infrequent publication schedule, but we will get that on our website tomorrow.
Instruction, Mr. Chairman, we have the new and improved Suzanne Gerard, Rhonda Samples.
Thanks. We have several items that we're bringing to your attention tonight. We're going to begin with Dr. Turpin talking about policy IFBG, Internet Acceptable Use Approval. And then when he finishes that, he has a couple more items that he'll address first.
All right, so the first item is policy IFBG that has been sitting on the table for over 30 days. And if you recall, that is a total rewrite of policy IFBG to be in compliance with new state law. And upon your adoption of it, we will file the paperwork with the State Department of Education by October 15th, as we are required to by law also.
I'd like to request that the board approve the rewriting of policy IFBG, our Internet Acceptable Use.
Do I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Great, thank you. Item number 2 is the annual item that we're required by USAC, which of course is the SEC affiliate, which handles all of the E-rate program for all schools and libraries across the country. And the program requires us once a year to, in a public session, to remind and talk about a few things. First of all, that we indeed do have an internet safety policy. That's the one that you just updated with policy IFBG. We have technology protection measures. Many of those are outlined in the policy that you just talked about at a very high level. But bottom line is we filter at a rate that is greater than required by federal law. We filter student devices at school and at home. And I can't say that the kids cannot get around our measures. If a parent provides them a cell phone, they connect to a cellular tower that is not filtered, but it's very difficult to get around. You have to be very intentional to do it. So we do filter at a very high level. Notably, all social networks are blocked from all of our students in all of our schools. That is K-12, not only elementary, that is K-12. And the third requirement for the E-rate is a public hearing with notice, and this has been on the agenda. And so I ask that you consider just acknowledging that we have done the annual E-rate update for the boards required by the E-rate program.
Again, over the last 25 years, I can't tell how many millions of dollars we've benefited. That is that $1 a month fee you'll see on your phone bills that says USAC, is it not, Aaron? And they do a very good job of getting that back out to schools. So I would like to recommend that the board approve, again, the update of the USAC requirements.
Have a motion? Second. All in favor?
We have an application in for just over 1.1 million. That's what we usually receive, around 1.1 million annually in E-rate funding. So item number 3 is the last item that I'll be handling tonight. We are very thankful to the Ivester Foundation. They have once again donated $100,000 to 4 of our school learning commons. That's $25,000 for West Hall Middle School, Flowery Branch Elementary School, Martin Technology Academy, and Sugar Hill Elementary School. And this to date equals $300,000 that the Ivester Foundation has given, goes directly into the Learning Commons to benefit the boys and girls at those schools. We'll be having a luncheon at a future date at Johnson High School, one of the schools that received the funding last year. So the Ivester Foundation, and as many of you guys are able to come, can see what their donation money is being used for. And of course, Johnson High School is also one of those spaces that went under renovation last year, and as Brian knows well, the pit is gone, and it is phenomenally much more. What's the word I'm looking for? It is a much better environment that is much more flexible without a big hole in the middle of the floor. So we have told the schools that this is coming. Each of these will be named after a beneficiary, and we'll be announcing these at the luncheon.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you again to the incredible support we received from the Ivester Foundation, Doug and Kay Ivester, individually, Hall County natives. Rhonda.
Okay, item number 4, we bring to you tonight the 2026-2027 school calendar. And our teachers of the year have met, and they proposed 3 different options. From there, those 3 options were voted on by our staff, and you can see it also attached the survey results. We had 67.5% of our staff who liked option B. And there's no need for a vote tonight, but we will come back October the 6th and request that you vote on the 2026-2027 school calendar. Okay, moving right along, item number 5, updated CTA pathway offerings. You know, we always talk about all the different opportunities we have in this school district, and we're so thankful that we have all of these opportunities for our students, and we thank the board for those opportunities. And so we wanted to bring a little bit of an update on the 25-26 CTAE pathway offerings. So currently, this school year, we have 67 different high school pathway offerings. Then we have 13 TCCs, which are technical college certificates that we offer in partnership with Lanier Tech. 11 of those TCCs being offered at LCCA, 2 of those being offered at Ivester, And then in addition with that, which is totally new, we bring 12 academic career pathways where you have one academic class paired with a couple of CTAE pathways that's on the high demand list for a total of 92 different CTAE pathway offerings for this school year that our students have the opportunity. It's just amazing.
And if whoever's running the technology would just scroll down, because again, this is on the website, and you're welcome to look at every one of these opportunities. We've also asked Aaron and Jamie Moore to head up an AI and its effect on future career pathway offerings. I hate to admit it, but I think the field of education, along with most of American industry, is behind the curve when it comes to how AI is going to revolutionize the workforce, and we'd like to make sure we're doing as much as we can to stay ahead of the trends that we're not even sure what's going to happen yet. But Aaron, thank you for you and Jamie taking on that. Questions?
We do. And so we're in the process of starting our comprehensive local needs assessment. In fact, we meet with advisory committee for the district on Wednesday. And so we'll be looking at those. The state of Georgia contracted with the Carl Vinson Institute of UGA. And so they have aligned all of our pathways. And so we're working on that today. Of the 67 pathways, 57 or 58 of ours are on the state list. So these first two pages are on there. And that doesn't mean that we don't offer some of the other pathways. It's just that moving forward in our needs assessments, we look at, is there pathways that we're not addressing in our community? And then we look at the data from the state of Georgia and then from our Georgia Mountain region to see what are the likely pathways that we should be looking at for future employment. And so if you'll scroll on down, we'll get to the academic career pathways that they just identified. Those are all the high school pathways. Keep scrolling on down. Keep scrolling. There's several pages here. This is all of the TCCs, the Technical College Certificates with Lanier Technical College. And we have had one meeting with them looking at future planning. And we're also looking at AI there. And then scroll on down. And then the new high demand academic pathways, I think there's 24 that was introduced, and so we already had academic and career tech classes in place that we could offer these 12 pathways this school year. Scroll on down. There's one in English and math. It brings the two areas together, mental health, and then scroll on down. There's several audio, video, and graphics. Any other questions? All right, item number 6, Myers Elementary. In fact, this past Friday it was announced that they was named a 2025 Title I Reward School. A press release staff was notified today, and a press release has been prepared by Stan today to send to media. What does this mean? It means that they were in the top 5% of the Title I schools in the state of Georgia for making the most progress in ELA and math on performance on the milestones. And so congratulations to Myers Elementary. All right, and then item number 7, last week we celebrated U.S. Constitution, and so I would again call on Stan Lewis to bring us some of those highlights.
No, Mr. Sloan, I do not have that memorized. But I do have some photos to show you. We had an incredible week last week with it being Constitution Week. Actually, I just learned that today is the last day of Constitution Week, so we're just now wrapping it up. Obviously that's our, in our lobby here at the central office, we had a little display put up offering the pocket Constitutions. If you'll continue to scroll. All right, one of the really cool things that we had going on at C.W. Davis Middle School was they had a scavenger hunt. So kids got a copy of the Pocket Constitution, and they were doing a scavenger hunt online. Keep rolling. There's more scavenging hunting. C.W. Davis, that's the same group. Next, please. All right, so at Lula Elementary School, a really cool activity in the media center. Teachers worked together with students. They had 5 stations, and they rotated through each station. They learned about the branches of government. They learned about the preamble, and there's some of the kids there from Lula. Next screen, please. There's Lula again. And that's the final shot there of Lula. That is Lyman Hall. Now here's what's really cool about Lyman Hall. Obviously a coloring activity, but what you don't know or see there is that they looked at the Pocket Constitution and they compared their school rules to the Constitution, which I thought was a pretty neat activity for Lyman Hall. Continue. And finally, West Hall High School. The media center, media specialists there collaborated with the entire social studies department to do a breakout session on the Constitution. There are some students participating in that activity. We could stand up here and go on all night long about the different activities that took place last week, but obviously some really cool things going on across the district. And again, just part of one of our objectives is to do our part in making Hall County a constitutionally literate community. And so our students and staff working hard to do that.
And a couple things. First of all, the district and its students and teachers have given away over 10,000 pocket constitutions over the last 10 years. The students and their teacher have a constitutional course which has now been viewed and taken in at least 20 countries across the globe. Somebody said, oh, I've seen a better course than that, and I said, there may be a better course than that, but this was homegrown and organic from our students, from our teacher. It came from the heart. They did a great job, and again, there have been thousands and thousands of individuals who've introduced that to members of their family, to their next-door neighbors. And again, we truly believe that the U.S. Constitution is our greatest hope for the survival of this nation, and I thank you for that. The Lyman Hall activity did have one setback, and that is that the kindergartners thought that timeout was cruel and unusual punishment under the Fourth Amendment, and so I think he's had to work with that, Mr. Rodriguez. So
I'll follow up with him and see how we're doing with that. So, great. And I also have some copies of the Pocket Constitution if anybody would like. Would anybody like?
In the display he showed, the baskets are filled up front, so as you go out, you're welcome to take some.
And then item number 8, we bring to you tonight 2 field trips, and we would like to ask for approval tonight.
Have a motion to have a second. All in favor?
thank you, and thank you, Rhonda. Jonathan.
Yes, sir. In quick succession tonight, we have the June, July, and August financial reports for you. So June being the end of fiscal year 25, with an ending fund balance for the year at just shy of $98.4 million. If you have any questions, just let me know.
3 financial reports in one meeting. I've never seen that. You act like we haven't had a budget or something for the last couple months. If you would, I'd like to ask that you approve June, July, and August financial reports as presented.
Do I have a motion? Have a second? All in favor?
Budget amendment.
Yes, sir. Budget amendment number 1. So budget amendment number 1 before you tonight mostly consists of grants. The one major change that comes in the general fund is GDOE has done some reclassifying this year, and they've asked us to move some of our school counselors out of instruction and over into 2100. If you have any specific questions, just let me know.
Once again, that's just asking to move school counselor salaries, and they've changed the rules, and they now come out of Function 1000 into 2100, which is out of instruction into student support. So I'd like to recommend that the budget amendment number 1 for fiscal year 26 be approved as presented.
Have a motion? Second? All in favor?
We have a request for you to consider renaming Riverbend Elementary to Riverbend Center. It is now the home of school food nutrition. There is also some special education storage and workspace in there. And Riverbend Center reflects more of what the facility is now used for.
Have a motion to have a second. All in favor?
Dr. Smith, I know you're glad to see Riverbend stay on the. Lollapalooza, maybe,
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Le Centre de Riverbend. Yes. Okay. The funding requests before you are the same four that Matt brought forth 2 weeks ago. No changes.
I'd like to request that those funding requests be approved as presented.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Dr. Swafford.
Sir, tonight we have the personnel action items that you were emailed on Friday, and the changes from our work session are highlighted in yellow. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Once again, the format, I love it. It's just so easy.
Good. Thank you.
That being said, I'm sorry.
We still just have a half opening, and that's for a pretty unique situation. It's for a bilingual gifted educator, and that one's been pretty difficult to fill. But I think we're doing really well. I was on a call last week where they were discussing the TRS return to work legislation that might be coming up, and they cited one particular school district in South Georgia that just in their high school alone, their one high school, they had 50 openings. And so I thought, my goodness, we are blessed to have been able to staff our schools the way that we have. So I'm glad to be able to report that to y'all. Yes, ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am.
And they have to be left-handed, just because of the room that we have them in. But that being said, I'd like to recommend that the personnel packet be approved as presented.
Do I have a motion? Second. All in favor? All right, time for citizens' input. First we have Susan Smith.
Hey, short and sweet tonight. So in looking at the agenda online today, there was at least one item that you could not open to view that was not a locked item. You know, some things are locked that we're not able to view, but it was the Word document with the list of the funding requests. It's the way it's being saved as a Word document is not accessible to those of us who don't have a login. And so if it could be saved as a PDF or something like that that we could open, that would be really great. So thank you
for telling us that.
Frank Locke.
I want to begin by wondering if you're familiar with the proposal for a data center in Hall County described as Project Turbo. I was invited to attend a recent Hall County Planning Commission meeting. The agenda included consideration of a project to develop a data center in Hall County. I did some research and I decided I would speak in opposition to the project. I wonder if you are aware there are at least 4 categories of data centers. Google it. As it turns out, the Project Turbo managers intend to include solar electric in their plans for the plant. The photovoltaic system will reduce the cost of operating the plant. I have also been reading a book by Bill McKibben, Here Comes the Sun. One challenge he writes of is the effect of climate change on insurance costs. Currently, increases in insurance premiums are going up 40% faster than inflation. McKibben provides evidence that we can overcome the climate change challenge. He describes burning fossil fuels as a self-imposed financial penalty. You must stop being irresponsible and act to protect the future of the children for whom you are responsible, and invest in obtaining electricity to work for our schools rather than incinerate our funds to produce heat.
And if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn? Second, all in favor? Thank everyone for coming.
Brian, I think you're going to a pretty special event right now.